I want to stop here at Whistling River Amusement Park because in my book, their food safety practices are second to none.
Alan Schumer is a guy who knows a lot about good cleaning and sanitizing practices. To get a handle on cleaning and sanitizing, you have to know the difference between cleaning and sanitizing, the properties and uses of cleaning agents, the different methods of sanitizing, and the different types of dishwashing machines and their proper operation. You'll also have to know how to clean and sanitize equipment using a 3-compartment sink. Then there's the proper storage of utensils, tableware, and equipment, the proper storage of cleaning tools and supplies, and the proper use and storage of hazardous materials. Cleaning is the process of removing food and other types of soil from a surface, such as a prep table or plate, while sanitizing is the process of reducing the number of pathogens on a clean surface to safe levels.
Effective cleaning and sanitizing is a 2-step process. Surfaces have got to first be cleaned and rinsed before being sanitized.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Everything in the operation has got to be kept clean. But any surface that comes in contact with food, such as knives, utensils, and cutting boards, has to be cleaned and sanitized.
So all food contact surfaces must be washed, then rinsed, and then sanitized. And you have to do it after each use. Anytime you begin working with another type of food, anytime you're interrupted during a task and the tools or items you've been working with may have been contaminated, and at 4-hour intervals if items are constantly used. These aren't options or something that should be done most of the time. These are practices that should be followed all of the time.
Cleaning agents are chemical compounds that remove food, soil, rust, stains, minerals, and other deposits.
Since cleaning agents all have different properties, you should ask your supplier to help you select the ones that will meet your needs. There are different types of cleaners, and they've got specific uses.
There are general-purpose detergents, which remove fresh dirt from floors, walls, ceilings, prep surfaces, and most equipment and utensils. Heavy-duty detergents, on the other hand, remove wax, aged or dried dirt, and baked-on grease. Dishwasher detergents are an example. Then there are solvent cleaners, which are often called degreasers, and these are alkaline detergents containing a grease-dissolving agent. They work well in areas where grease is burned on and are usually only effective at full strength. Acid cleaners, which are also called delimers, are used on mineral deposits and other soils that alkaline cleaners can't remove. Acid cleaners vary in type and strength and are often used to remove scale in dishwashing machines and steam tables. Abrasive cleaners contain a scouring agent that helps scrub out hard-to-remove soil. If you've got pots and pans with baked-on food, this is what's often used to remove it. Remember to use abrasive cleaners carefully because they can scratch surfaces.
There's 2 methods used to sanitize surfaces: heat sanitizing and chemical sanitizing. One way to heat sanitize tableware, utensils, or equipment is to immerse them in hot water. To be effective, the water must be at least 171 degrees Fahrenheit, 77 Celsius, and the items have to be immersed for 30 seconds.
When you're heat sanitizing by immersion, you should use a thermometer to check water temperature. It might also be necessary to install a heating device to maintain this temperature.
The other heat sanitizing method is the high-temperature dishwashing machine. This uses hot water to sanitize tableware, utensils, and other items. To check the water temperature in these machines, attach temperature-sensitive labels or tape, or a high-temperature probe to items that will be run through the machine. Now, the other way to sanitize uses chemicals. The 3 most common types of chemical sanitizers are chlorine, iodine, and quaternary ammonium compounds, or quats. Chemical sanitizers are regulated by state and federal environmental protection agencies. And a list of approved sanitizers is available from the federal government. Work with your chemical supplier to choose the right sanitizers for your place. Detergent sanitizer blends can sometimes be used to sanitize items. If you use a detergent sanitizer blend, use it once to clean and a second time to sanitize.
Tableware, utensils, and equipment can be chemically sanitized by immersing them in a specific concentration of sanitizing solution for a specific amount of time. You can also rinse, swab, or spray them with the appropriate sanitizing solution. Chemical sanitizers are mixed with water until the right concentration, the proper ratio of sanitizer to water, is reached. The right concentration is critical, because concentration below those required in your jurisdiction or recommended by the manufacturer could fail to sanitize objects. On the other hand, if the concentration is higher than recommended, they can be unsafe. When that happens, they can leave an odor or bad taste, and could even corrode metals. You should always measure the concentration using a sanitizer test kit, which registers the strength of the concentration in parts per million, or ppm. But make sure the test kit is designed for the sanitizer you're using. If you don't have the right test kit, they're usually available from the manufacturer or your chemical supplier. One last thing about the concentration of a sanitizing solution. You have to check it frequently, since the sanitizer loses its strength during use. Temperature is another factor that can influence the effectiveness of chemical sanitizers, so make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommendations for the proper temperature. Contact time is also important. For a sanitizing solution to kill pathogens, it has to make contact with the object for a specific amount of time. Manufacturer's recommendations should provide you with all the information you need. The pH and hardness of your water can also affect how well a sanitizer works. You can get this information from your municipality. Then you should work with your supplier to identify the right amount of sanitizer to use for your water.
Okay, now let's talk about the different types of dishwashing machines and how they work. High-temperature machines rely on hot water to clean and sanitize, so the water temperature is critical.
If it's not hot enough, items won't be properly sanitized. If it's too hot, it could vaporize before tableware and utensils have been sanitized. And there's also the possibility that extremely hot water could bake food onto an item.
The dishwasher must be equipped with a built-in thermometer that measures water temperature at the manifold, the point where the water sprays into the tank. The temperature of the final sanitizing rinse must be at least 180 degrees Fahrenheit, 82 Celsius, to be effective. For stationary rack single temperature machines, the sanitizing rinse must be at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 Celsius. Operations that clean and sanitize a lot of tableware may need to install a heating device. This device will make sure the machines have enough hot water. The second type of dishwashing machines are chemical sanitizing machines. These can clean and sanitize items at much lower temperatures. Since different sanitizers require different rinse water temperatures, it's important to follow the dishwashing temperature guidelines provided by the manufacturer. All dishwashing machines should be operated according to the recommendations provided by the manufacturer.
But no matter what type of machine you use, there are general procedures you should follow when cleaning and sanitizing tableware, utensils, and related items.
That means you have to check the machine for cleanliness at least once a day and clean it whenever it's needed. You need to clear detergent trays and spray nozzles of food and foreign objects. And you should remove mineral deposits caused by hard water using an acid cleaner on the machine whenever it's necessary. Make sure the detergent and sanitizer dispensers are properly filled. Before you send the soiled items through, you need to scrape, rinse, or soak items before washing, and pre-soak items with dried-on food. The dish racks need to be loaded correctly. That means making sure all surfaces are exposed to the spray action, using racks designed for the items being washed, and not overloading racks. You also need to check water temperatures and pressure following the manufacturer's recommendations. As each rack comes out of the machine, check it for soiled items. Once all the items are cleaned and sanitized, you have to let everything air dry. Now, don't use towels because they can recontaminate items you just cleaned.
Finally, keep the dishwashing machine in good repair, using the basic maintenance measures I talked about and any service agreement that you have with the manufacturer.
You can also wash items using a 3-compartment sink. A properly set up station for a 3-compartment sink includes an area for rinsing away food or for scraping food into garbage containers, drain boards to hold both soiled and cleaned items, a thermometer to measure water temperature, chemical test strips to check sanitizer concentration, and a clock with a second hand that allows employees to time how long items have been immersed in the sanitizing sink. Before cleaning and sanitizing items in a 3-compartment sink, each sink and all work surfaces have to be cleaned and sanitized. There's 5 steps for cleaning and sanitizing tableware, utensils, and equipment in a 3-compartment sink. Step 1. Rinse, scrape, or soak all items before washing. Step 2. Wash items in the first sink in a detergent solution that's at least 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 Celsius. You should use a brush, cloth, or nylon scrub pad to loosen the remaining soil. And make sure you replace the detergent solution when the suds are gone or the water is dirty. Step 3. Immerse or spray rinse items in the second sink. You have to remove all traces of food and detergent. And if you're using the immersion method, replace the rinse water when it becomes cloudy or dirty. Step 4. Sanitize the rinsed items in the third sink by immersing them in a chemical sanitizing solution. Alternately, you can immerse them in hot water that's at least 171 degrees Fahrenheit, 77 Celsius, for 30 seconds. Step 5. Air dry all items. Don't use a towel.
Once utensils, tableware, and equipment are clean, sanitized, and dry, store them so they stay that way. That means storing tableware and utensils at least 6 inches, 15 centimeters, off the floor, keeping everything covered or otherwise protected from dirt and condensation, and cleaning drawers and shelves before clean items are stored. You also have to clean trays and carts used to carry clean tableware and utensils. Make sure that this is done on a daily basis or more often if necessary. When it comes to cleaning the operation, there are several things to keep in mind. Non-food contact surfaces such as floors, ceilings, equipment exteriors, restrooms, and walls must be cleaned regularly. This will keep dust and dirt, food residue, and other debris from building up.
To do these jobs, your staff will need the right tools. But if you're not careful, the tools themselves can contaminate surfaces. You can avoid this by replacing any cleaning tools that are worn and by cleaning the tools before putting them away. Assigning tools for specific tasks will also help. For example, you can use one set of tools for cleaning food contact surfaces and another for non-food contact surfaces. And here's a hint. Using color-coded tools can help keep them separate. You have to be just as careful when it comes to cleaning towels. Never use towels meant for food spills for any other purpose, and store them in a sanitizer solution between uses. Always keep towels that come in contact with raw meat, fish, or poultry separate from other cleaning towels. All your cleaning tools and chemicals have to be placed in a storage area away from food and food preparation sites to avoid contamination. That storage area should have things like hooks for hanging cleaning tools to dry, a floor drain for dumping dirty water, and a utility sink for filling buckets and washing cleaning tools. Oh, and by the way, never clean tools anywhere but in that utility sink. Some of the cleaning solutions you'll use have to be considered hazardous materials, and by definition, hazardous materials always pose some risk of chemical contamination. You should reduce your risk by working with your chemical suppliers and purchase only those chemicals that are approved to use in a restaurant or food service establishment. Then you have to store them in their original containers away from food and food preparation areas. If chemicals are transferred to a new container, it's got to be properly labeled. When disposing of chemicals, you should follow the instructions on the label and any local regulations that apply. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, has requirements for using chemicals. OSHA requires chemical manufacturers and suppliers to provide a Material Safety Data Sheet, MSDS, for each hazardous chemical they sell. Employees have a right to see an MSDS for any hazardous chemical they work with, so you must keep these sheets accessible. There are 3 things you need to do to develop an effective cleaning program in your operation. First, you need to create a master cleaning schedule. Second, You need to train your employees to follow it. And third, you must monitor the program to make sure it works. Your master cleaning schedule should identify what should be cleaned and who should do it. It should also spell out step-by-step how these items should be cleaned. And finally, it should tell you when to do it. While employees should clean and sanitize items as needed, you should schedule major cleaning when food will not be contaminated or service will not be affected. That's usually after closing. Training is critical to the success of a cleaning program. Employees need to know what you want them to do and how to do it. Once you put the cleaning program in place, keep an eye on